Welcome back to the Smugsy Show. I'm Smugsy, your host, identifying as the Barstool Cougar. My pronouns are first and third person. Each week you can meet me here and we can dive into an interesting topic at the intersection of sports, politics, and business. This week, I'm going to talk about sticky stuff. And yes, I mean Jeffrey Toobin, former, or at least suspended now, longtime writer for The New Yorker and big news personality on CNN, as well as writing and appearing in several other large national, international media endeavors. He was suspended because during a Zoom meeting with other television celebrities of the highest caliber getting ready for an election night event in a conference room on Zoom, he didn't realize that his camera was still on and apparently fondled himself, which, to the amazement of his, colleagues. So my take on the whole thing is, he says that, he's double booked. He had these two calls going on at once. Okay. Sure. He lacks just utter and complete self-control and can't sit for an hour wearing pants while he works. And there's no excuse for that. Just wear pants. It's not a high bar. That's what Smugsy brings to the conversation. It's just some common sense cougar talk, I have pants on right now, just in case you're wondering. The other sticky topic, though, that's related is hand sanitizer in cars. As many of you know, I'm a big believer in the brand 365 hand sanitizer from Whole Foods. It's delightfully alcohol heavy and with just a little bit of, lip balm, and it does the job. However, if you use it in the car, it leaves, I think all hand sanitizers leave kind of a sticky residue similar. I just think that the interior of my car reminds me of maybe Jeffrey Toobin's home office, and I'm looking for suggestions, and I think the Smugsy Show fans, the audience, would love to hear if you've solved that problem, if you've cracked that nut of what do you do with your dirty hands in the car. Please write a comment on the YouTube channel or send a message on Twitter at SmugsyGirl. Big news this week from the Pope. Pope Francis, my favorite Pope. He got off Twitter, and today, his new documentary film premiered at a Rome Film Festival. The film is called Fransesco, and in the documentary, Pope Francis announces that, in his view, civil unions between gay people is okay. So, go Pope Francis, that's fabulous. And what a charming and classy way to go about making such an announcement, premiering at a Roman film festival during a pandemic. So thank you, Pope Francis, for that. Splitting the baby with millennials, it appears, because the Pope is staying strong on the Church's beliefs around abortion, pushing very heavily in that direction, but giving a little on gay rights. So Smugsy supports Pope Francis. This week, we're also going to talk a little bit about what Dave Portnoy needs. Dave Portnoy, the president of Barstool Sports, of course, now a personality that's grown beyond that because of his role in Penn and the everyday trader, global trader, as well as his new podcast. I mean, the guy is an amazing pizza review. You name it, he's doing it. I listened to the new show. I thought it was great, the new podcast. But the story with about him and Sam Ponder at the Catch in New York Dave Portnoy was on a date allegedly with a girl. Well, never mind. Apparently had this just argument with Sam Ponder over a long-standing, festering issue, at least on her part, and having to do with the ESPN deal that went down because of comments she made. And so when Dave Portnoy was describing his exchange with her, he was so animated. And so I think what Dave Portnoy needs to really up his game is to have on some medium just a fight with somebody with words, just a screaming match. Be like there's some rules, there'd be some refs or a panel or a judge. You could bet, and there'd be like a couple of topics, and it would just be ready, set, go, and then just argue and see who wins. So I think that'd be good for him. And I think, again, not to blow my own horn, but I think Smugsy could really kind of help in that regard. Obviously, excellent at word swords, and I think I could, I would just be willing to help him if he needed help with that. And that's why, I'm just confident in my role as identifying as the Barstool Cougar. The Cougars of the week, this week, let's stand in solidarity with the 34-year-old Prime Minister of Finland, Sanna Marin, who, as many of you may know, was really condemned and lambasted this week for appearing in a jacket without a shirt underneath it in a magazine shoot. The magazine is called Trendy. And here at the Smugsy Show, Prime Minister Marin, we stand in solidarity with you. If you'd like to go shirtless, look at Vladimir Putin, shirtless on a horse. We all had to put up with that. And, so also Karen with a C is this week's Cougar. What I mean by that is the San Francisco legislative body passed a new ordinance to fight back against racist and frivolous calls made. For instance, the straw that broke the camel's back was in San Francisco. An 18-year-old black boy somebody called the police and accused him of breaking into a business. It turns out it was his lemonade stand, and that was just one in a series of incidents. And so the Karen Act, Caution Against Racial and Exploitive Non-Emergencies Act, was passed in San Francisco. So if there's a racist and frivolous call, for instance, Christian Cooper in New York City, who was a birder in Central Park, and the other Cooper, unrelated lady who had her dog off the leash, and he just said, lady, can you put your dog on the lead? That's the rules here. And she called the cop and called 911, said an African-American man was trying to kill her. But thankfully it was all filmed, so she lost her job and she lost her dog. But in San Francisco, that Cooper could file a claim against her for $1,000. So Cougars of the week, Sanna Marin from Finland and Karen with a C. But I also want to talk a little bit about this Karen business, and I want to present a hypothetical. And this is actually not a hypothetical. This is a true story. Imagine you're in a lovely coastal town, and there's a street about 2 miles long that is reserved as a conservation easement. So you can go up and down the street, and all along the street is just open farmland for wealthy people. Lovely belted Galloway cows, apple orchards, a nice landing for single-engine planes, rolling hills down to a private beach where there's a lovely pier. And these very wealthy people donated this conservation easement to reduce their tax burden and to make a lovely place available for residents and guests to use the conservation area. So there's runners, joggers, walkers. There's basically like Noah's Ark. You see white-tailed deer, turkeys, you name it, owls. I haven't seen a bear, but there's animals galore. And lovely sounds, ponds. It's just lovely. So lo and behold, I arrived to do a run. It's 4 miles. It's great. And there's an idling postal truck. This is a Saturday morning. There's an idling, maybe Saturday around close to noon, 11:30. Idling postal truck, kind of fat guy, asleep, hunched over, with the window open. And the truck's running, so it's taking me a little while because I have to change into my running stuff. And I had been out doing errands, so maybe 10 minutes in the car. And still idling. I'm like, so when I left to go on my run, I kind of went, and the guy, and I said, you all right? And he said, he was kind of like a little aggressive, he's like, I'm on my lunch hour. And I was like, oh, okay. So I left, and, I could tell for a good part of my run that, he was still there. So here's the question. Now, this is a guy being paid by the taxpayers, right? He's like in this piece of shit car running. It's a carbon, fuel, oil, gas, petroleum product leaking basically out of the truck, blowing black smoke, idling for, half an hour, 45 minutes, while he's asleep with the window open in a conservation easement. Now, if I came back and it was still idling and he was still there sleeping, it's Saturday and it's the post office. If I said to him, would you mind turning off your truck? Because there's animals and plants and people exercising, and this is, like a beautiful place, and your truck is spewing out disgusting black smoke. Would that have been Karen? Would I have been Karen? I say no. I say no, that, you can only take that Karen nonsense so far, and Cougars have to speak up. Everybody has to speak up, but not Karens who make frivolous racist calls to weaponize their white privilege. I'm down on that. The Smugsy Show does not support bad Karens, but we do like Karen with a C, and I think that's, the Mozart of masturbation. Commander Kirk Minahan is having a fundraiser to raise money for the Florence VFW. Maybe you heard. So I highly encourage you to seek that out and donate, because you could have the opportunity to be one of 45 people in a VFW hall on a Sunday for a live Kirk Minahan show. So if that's up your alley, I bought a ticket. I'm a big supporter, as you know, the Smugsy Show and Smugsy. We're part of the Kirk Minahan Show Survivor Network. I'm a survivor. You can be a survivor too. So I did support the program with a ticket. And lastly, I'm wondering if maybe a trending hashtag might be MAWA. Hashtag MAWA, Make America Well Again, since the COVID, it's the trends are not going in the right direction in any state. Okay, let's MAWA. And until next time, this is Smugsy signing off. Take care.